What's up, Menlo Student Ministries? So good to be with you here tonight. My name's Matt, if we haven't met yet. And no matter where you're tuning in from, if it's Mountain View, if it's San Jose, if it's Menlo Park, if it's San Mateo, if it's Saratoga, South City, we are so glad you're joining us tonight. We have a great night planned for you. We are continuing a series that we are calling The You Effect. Okay, it's all about how you affect others around you, and we're going to be hearing from the one and only Brett Corton tonight, so get excited to hear from him. But before that, I've got a huge summer announcement for you, okay? So in just a moment, it's going to be a big announcement. I'm excited to let you know about that. But before we get there, you've been attending school virtually, you're taking the summer off, and so I decided, let's test your skills a little bit, okay? Because I don't want you to be slipping at all in what you're learning. And so we've asked a couple people to do what I thought was an incredibly difficult challenge, and that's to say your ABCs backwards. The fastest to do it wins, but it turns out it wasn't as much of a challenge as I thought it'd be. So check out these 4 contestants that decided to take us up on this challenge.
All right, here we go. ZYX WUVT VT TUV a VUT SRQ PONM J L okay NM LK JI HG EDCBA
ZYX WVUT SR QPONMLK JIHG FEDCBA
LKJIHGFEDCBA. Done.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to say the alphabet backwards. Let me prepare my mind. ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHGFEDCBA.
Okay, so here's the deal. Apparently that was super easy for everyone. I'm gonna choose to believe that you didn't cheat and that you're all super smart. Brady, congrats on winning the student portion. That was amazing. We got a gift card coming your way. And Mary, how did you learn to do that in 7 seconds? If you can beat Mary and recite your ABCs backwards faster than 7 seconds, okay, go ahead and send a message to any of our Instagram accounts with a video of you doing that. That would be amazing. I can't even get past the first 3 letters, okay? Z, X, Y. Is that even right? I'm not even sure, but hey, congrats, y'all are awesome. And listen, I wanted to tell you about what we got going on this summer, okay? It's gonna be such a big deal. I'm so excited to tell you about it. The truth is, people right now are experiencing hopelessness and isolation. Okay, that's what people are experiencing. And in our church, this summer, we're going on a mission to spread hope. That's what we're doing for our church. That's what we're doing in the student ministries. And we want you to be a part of it. And so the time that we're going to tell you all about what spreading hope means for us this summer is at our kickoff on June 17th for the summer. Okay, we're calling it Summer Heist because you thought your summer was stolen from you, but it's not. We're taking it back because we are starting a movement called Spread Hope. So for the summer, we're all coming together. We're going to meet at the same time every week, 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights, and we are going live. We're going to be doing our services live on YouTube. We're going to be able to interact with you, to engage with you as it's happening. And June 17th, we're going to tell you all about what Spread Hope means and how you can be a part of it. So don't miss June 17th, 7 o'clock. And let me tell you this, we are giving away the biggest thing we've ever given away at a Menlo student ministry event, okay? You're not gonna wanna miss this because we think it's a big deal that we're all coming together for the summer. So we are kicking it off with a bang. You wanna know what we're giving away? Drum roll, please. Okay, so here's what we're giving away. We are giving away an iPhone 11. You could win an iPhone 11 at Summer Heist, June 17th. So don't miss it. Not only are we gonna go live, not only are we talking about the summer vision, but we are giving away an iPhone 11. So we will see you there. We're excited about it. But not only this, this is what this series is all about, the You Effect. If you're not there, we're gonna miss you. If you're not there, it will matter. And so we want you to be there because you have an effect on the people around you. Because you show up, you have an effect. And so that's what Brett's gonna talk about today in week 2 of our series, The You Effect. He's gonna continue to talk about how you have an effect on the people around you. So check out this message from Brett.
So with summer just around the corner, I want you to imagine that you are celebrating by taking a trip to the ocean to start exploring the seas. So you put on your mask, you put on your fins, you've watched Finding Nemo maybe 15 times, and you are ready to start exploring. So as soon as you're swimming, you cross over the drop-off at the coral reef, and the first thing you see is this headed your way. How would you respond? Type it in the chat, let us know. For me, I will tell you that the second I saw that, I turned around and sprinted back to shore as quickly as possible, praising God that I was a swimmer. Now fast forward one day. This time, you go through the same motions, but there's one difference. This time you have a guide with you. And so you go out into the water, you get to the drop-off again, you see the same shark headed your direction, but before you turn around, you see your guide do this. How would you respond now? Some of you might be thinking like, it's a shark, I'm still doing the exact same thing, I don't care if anybody is near me. But I'll tell you, for me, everything changed. Whereas the first day I saw my life flash before my eyes, this time I saw this new opportunity to explore God's creation in a way that I never had before. But what changed? Simple. I wasn't alone. There's something about being with other people that changes everything, or how it causes us to do things that we wouldn't do by ourselves. And Matt talked about this idea a little bit last week when he talked about how every single one of us has the ability to affect the world around us. That when we say, hey, God, here's my gifts, here's what I have, take it, that God can do crazy, awesome things through you. But I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I hear messages like that and I think, like, that's great and all for some people, but I'm not really sure if God could use me. I mean, there are 7.5 billion people in the world and I hardly get 100 likes on Instagram. Could God actually use me? I imagine I'm not alone in feeling that way. So tonight, I want us to ask this question. Is it actually possible for big effects to happen with just me? To answer this, we are going to look at a story from the very beginning of the church. And to give some background to this, Jesus walked the world in his ministry life for about 3 years. And during this time, he gained a number of followers. And there's one day where he said to his closest followers, he said this, he said, those who believe in me, they will do the things that I do, but they will also do even greater things than these. And I imagine the disciples heard this and maybe they thought like, that's awesome. I would love to do all this. But I imagine some of them also were thinking like, really? We will do greater things than you? You're Jesus. I'm just a fisherman. I'm just a tax collector. I'm just a normal person. How could I do any of this? But now the story continues, and Jesus dies on the cross. He comes back from the dead, and then he walks around with his disciples again. But right before he's about to go be with his Father in heaven, he says this to his followers. He says, I'm going to go, but know that I'm also going to send you my Spirit. And when my Spirit comes, you are going to do what I told you were going to do. And so Jesus leaves, and we read in the book of Acts, which is basically a historical account of the life of the early church, that they kept meeting together. I imagine they were wondering, what are we supposed to do now? Like, Jesus said this, but what now? Like, do we need to go viral on flip-flop? Get it? They were sandals. It's like TikTok. But anyway, Luke tells us, the author of Acts, he says that one day they were meeting together in their home while all of a sudden this giant rushing wind sound filled the room. And it was the Holy Spirit that Jesus had promised. And this Holy Spirit fills up their lives and fills up the room, and people are so full with joy and excitement that they can't help but go into the streets and start telling people about who Jesus is and what Jesus had done. And as they are doing this, people are listening, and they're like, we want to know Jesus. And Luke tells us that 3,000 people decided to follow Jesus that day. One day, one small group of people, 3,000 lives forever changed. I wonder if Jesus could actually do something through me. But Luke tells us that the story doesn't end there. The people didn't hear the sermons or hear Peter's sermon and think, man, that was really moving, and now we're just going to go back to life as normal. Luke tells us this. He says, the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the community, to their shared meals, and to their prayers. A sense of awe came over everyone. God performed many wonders and signs through the apostles, and all the believers were united and shared everything. They would sell pieces of property and possessions and distribute the proceeds to everyone who needed them. Every day they met together in the temple and ate in their homes. They shared food with gladness and simplicity. They praised God and demonstrated God's goodness to everyone, and the Lord added daily to the community those who were being saved. Do you catch what's going on there? These people heard about life with Jesus, and they didn't just sit back and go about their daily lives. They changed the way they lived with one another. They shared meals together. They talked about Jesus' teachings, and they put it into practice. You could sum it up by saying they started living with each other, and they started living for each other. They shifted their mindset from me to we, and everything changed. Because when we shift our minds from me to we, big effects can come from a small group. Now, my wife and I love nature documentaries. Like, you put the word planet in a title, we're probably going to watch it. Blue Planet, Planet Earth, One Planet. But last summer, we were watching Shark Week. I know there's not a planet, but it was awesome. And I will be honest, I don't know what it is about me and sharks this week. I think I've just been cramped up in our house too long without seeing the ocean. But we were watching this clip, and I feel like it shows this idea of me to we so perfectly. Check this out. You see, when we shift from me to we, big effects can come from a small group. So what does this mean for us? Well, I want you to know that you actually have a lot in common with these first followers of Jesus. First of all, we believe that when you choose to follow Jesus, Jesus gives you his Spirit. That same Spirit that they had that day is the Spirit that Jesus gives you as well. And then secondly, you have a small group. We call them life groups. But if you're watching this, you probably have a life group. If you don't, text the number on the screen because we'd love to get you connected. And we have life groups because we want life groups to be a place where you live with each other and for each other. We want people to see your life group living with and for one another, that they're like, man, there is something special about that group and I want to be a part of it. And your life group can make a big effect. And here's how you could do it. 3 steps. First, show up. To be with each other, you need to know one another. And so commit to showing up together, to connecting with one another and getting to know one another. If you have friends who haven't been showing up, call them up and say, hey, we want to grow together as a life group, because if we show up together, big effects could happen from our small group. The second thing is this: build up. Are you encouraging or are you for the other people in your group? If people hear the way you talk about people in your group, do they say, man, they treat one another with love. They treat them differently than any other group I've seen. Or if somebody new joins your group tonight, will they leave saying, I can't wait to reconnect with those people because of the way they made me feel? Commit to building up one another. And the final one is this: startup. Start something as a life group to spread hope to the world around you. Maybe for you, this means that you commit to calling people that maybe you haven't seen since shelter in place started, just to check in on them, to see how they're doing. There's actually a story from a student up at St. Mateo who did something in his community. Check this out.
Hi everyone, my name is Darius Chow. I'm a sophomore at Carmel High School. So what I did for the Lead Elementary project was that I did a little food collection thing in my neighborhood with my mom. We both made flyers, and what we did was we put them out on everybody's doors, asking for donations. When we collected the food, we got 21 bags in total, which was actually a lot because that's for 21 families. And honestly, going into this, I didn't know what to expect because I thought people would not donate because they were scared, especially in this time where coronavirus is going around. The people, my neighbors, they were all really supportive actually. On a lot of the bags that were donated, there are messages written about really kind words, and they were really supportive of me, and that made me really happy to see. The message that I got from this was just the fact that I think people, whether it's only one or just a small group, can definitely make an impact. I brought in my small community here, and we got a lot of food for people, and I think it's one example of which you should always try to make an effort, whether you're a small group or just an individual, to contribute to a bigger cause.
Show up, build up, start up. Imagine what could happen this summer if all of our groups committed to this together. As all of our campuses start worshiping together on Wednesday nights this summer, imagine if we committed to showing up, to building up, and starting up together. What difference could that have on your life group, or your ministry, or your community? Big effects start with a small group, and I pray that it starts for your group tonight.